Hi, I'm Dr. Billy Retzloff, and welcome back to ABA Ish. This is my YouTube channel that's dedicated to providing real life supports which are rooted in science. Today, we're going to talk about one of my favorite universal positive behavior supports, which is pre teaching expectations. All right, so what does this look like? You want to start by reviewing 3 to 5 positively stated behavioral expectations prior to a potentially challenging situation. So, when we say positively stated behavioral expectations, what we mean is that they're expectations in which you're telling the individual what to do. So, for example, you may tell them to walk rather than saying, don't run. You may say, raise your hand and wait to be called on rather than don't blurt out. So, we want to make sure that we're giving the expectation in a way that states what we want the individual to do. That way, we're drawing all of our energy and attention to those positive behaviors that we're looking for. Also, we're being very explicit on what we need to see done because if you say what not to do, there could be a whole other laundry list of things that they find that don't really meet your expectations, but aren't necessarily included in your list. So, find those 3 to 5 positive expectations. Now, as a little side note, you don't want to go above 5 because it's too hard for everybody to remember, recall, and learn those expectations. But it's okay if you have even less than 3. So maybe in a certain situation, you only have 1 or 2 expectations that are important. Great. Just stick with those. The simpler, the better. What this looks like is you want to have the child or student practice or demonstrate understanding. So you want to make sure that they know those expectations and they demonstrate for you how to actually do them. This looks like having them actually practice. So if one of your expectations is to use kind words, have them say something that would count as using kind words. You're going to make sure you give them lots of positive feedback when they do so. If they make an error, quickly provide positive redirection. So telling them quickly, oh, remember, we use kind words, or we sit over there, we raise our hand. Whatever it is that you need them to do, you want to quickly provide that positive redirection. You don't want to allow the student to go on making errors for a long time. Then you want to find an opportunity for them to practice again. Sometimes this might be an immediate thing. So, for example, maybe my expectation is that after we take our clothes off to get in the bath, we throw them in the dirty hamper. And I tell my kid, okay, let's practice. Here's your dirty clothes. Where do you throw them? And they throw it on the floor. I'm going to quickly redirect and say, oh, they go in the hamper right here. Now, if they get that wrong after they get it wrong and they fix it, so they throw it in the hamper that time, I say, "Great job, let's practice again. Here's your clothes. Where do you put them?" And they throw them in a hamper. "Yes, that's awesome. Way to go. High fives. That is where we put the clothes." But maybe in the situation, we're going to get into a little bit of a power struggle if we keep having them practice over and over right there. And in that case, just take a little break and come back and return to practicing when you can. So you can use this across so many different situations. You want to pre teach expectations for a dinner that you're having, an activity that you're doing. If you're a teacher, maybe an expectation for a routine or for a project that's being worked on. I do this with my kids. I just did it when we were at a cousin weekend and they all wanted to build a fort together. I said, that's great. Let's talk about the rules before we build the fort. And so it's really a great strategy to use across the board to make sure that you're very clear on what needs to happen. Another great example would be something like going to the pool. So, all right, we're going to go to the pool. Let's review those rules. 1, we get a high five from mom or dad before we go in the pool. 2, we treat everyone with kindness. 3, we ask for a break if we need it. And 4, if we have to go to the bathroom, we ask to go inside. So, again, these are all positively stated. They tell exactly what we need to do. And they're aimed at getting rid of some behaviors that we don't want to see, but we're not focusing on that. We're focusing on what we do want to see from our kids. So, how does this help? Why does it work? There's 3 big things that this does. 1, it ensures that the expectations are clear. Sometimes, as the adult, we don't exactly know what it is we're looking for. And so, making sure that we can pre teach our expectations helps make sure we're all on the same page about what needs to be done. The second thing is it gives us the opportunity for positive reinforcement to give a lot of that great high energy when they do the things that are being asked of them. And it also lets us do that supportive error correction during practice, where rather than getting mad and frustrated, we're redirecting in a neutral way to the positive and then right away providing energy for them getting that done. The final thing is it lets us follow that energy plan because we know what we're going to give high energy to And we also know what we're going to do when we see it not happen, how we're going to redirect to the positive behavior using low energy. I hope this was helpful. And if it was, that you consider liking, sharing, or subscribing to continue to support me as I make these little snippets of advice and ideas for how you can do real life supports that are rooted in science.